Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. At Tusane's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusanes.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com. This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Welcome back to What's Up Waco, the podcast that loves to introduce you to the people, the places, and the properties that make Waco an excellent community to live. Hey everybody, welcome back to What's Up Waco. I am your host, Erica Boisvert. Thanks for being here. And today I am joined by Carol Olson. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm awesome. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm kind of hoping this winter people are going to hate this comment, but I'm kind of like, let's get a little icy this weekend. I want to bundle up. We'll see.
As long as we can stay home and chill and have power the
whole time. As long as everybody has power.
We're good.
As long as everybody has power. Very cool. So you, ma'am, are the owner of Alterations by Carol.
Exactly.
And that's what we're here to talk about today.
Awesome.
Okay, so I'm super curious because I suck at sewing. My poor mother-in-law has tried to show. She's a quilter, like a quilter extraordinaire. If you can picture it, she can sew it. And so she tried to teach me, and it was a fail, and it's okay. We're all good at something, and you're good at this. So where'd that come from?
I grew up in the hills of Southwest Virginia, and like I was at one house. My grandmother lived, like 500 feet down the road. My other grandmother lived 500 feet up the road. So I had a lot of grandmother influence there.
Okay.
So, and I basically learned how to sew because my grandmother was a quilter. I've still got some of her quilts. They're all like hand stitched or done on her old Treadle Singer sewing machine.
No, that's probably so cool.
It's amazing. But
and still hold up.
Exactly. So
yeah. Okay.
But so I basically learned to sew there. Didn't really do a whole lot with it through life. I mean, I did the 4-H sewing thing. And,
okay.
That kind of thing.
Sure.
Got married, went to college, got married, all those fun things. Stay-at-home mom with kids. So, I made curtains. I made this. I made that. Never really did much with it.
Did you jump into the patterns of the 80s and make some outfits for your children?
I did not.
Oh,
they
bless
are
your
so
heart. Sorry,
thankful
Mom.
I did not.
I still see some of those patterns and I'm like,
oh yes, with like the bib and the lace
ruffles.
all around. And
oh,
the
but
ruffles.
wait, it can also be a culottes. Like,
There you go. You gotta have culottes, right?
I mean, yes.
Anyway,
A necessity.
Oh,
okay. But you did other like curtains and just like around the house kind of stuff.
Just around the house. Didn't really do much with it. We moved here I catch myself because I keep saying I moved here 7 years ago, and I think I've said that for about 2 years now. So I'm going to say we moved here about 9 years ago.
Okay.
And my daughter wanted to do theater.
Oh, okay.
So we signed her up for theater, and parents have to help because that's the way it was. Mm-hmm. And they found out I had a sewing machine.
Oh, no.
And they went, "You're on costume committee." And I went, "I no clue. Okay, here we go."
You can use my machine.
Like, yeah, exactly. I could loan it to anyone. But started doing that. About the same time, I started working at one of the bridal shops in town.
Yes.
And was working on the sales floor for a while. Mm-hmm. And the alterations manager came out one day because I was talking about, doing costuming. Mm-hmm. And she was like, "Wait a minute, you can sew?" I was
You're
like,
"Me?
Well, I can sew, but I can't sew like you sew. I mean,
Right.
There's a different level here." And she's like, "Well, I can teach you to do that. You need to come back with me right now."
Oh, cool.
So I ended up moving into alterations, did that for, about 6 years full time. And at that point we were churning out, it wouldn't be unusual for us to do 15, 20 wedding gowns a week.
Oh my gosh.
So as a team,
No, but still.
And I worked up to where I was doing the more difficult parts of the alterations and that kind of thing. So found out I really enjoyed it. I love working with the brides.
That's got to be so fun.
It is. I love hearing all their stories and the plans. I'm like, okay, tell me all about it. What are your colors? How did you guys meet?
Where's the venue?
Where's the venue? Tell me what kind of food are you doing? All the things. I love it. I love hearing all about the plans.
Oh, sure.
But anyway, that store closed down, and I kind of hit that. What am I going to do with the rest of my life?
Oh, that's fun.
And
just that little question.
just that little thing. And I've told my husband if I ever write a book, it will be called The Reluctant Entrepreneur. Because my daughters both immediately, they're older, they're married and moved out. But my daughters both immediately went, "Oh, you just need to open your own alteration studio." And I was like, I don't want to do that.
So you're like, no, thank you.
That sounds hard. It's like, there's got to be something else. And, I started looking at other options and things. And it's like, I kept looking back going, but I really like what I do. And I like talking with the brides. And I like doing this. And nobody else is going to let me do it the way I want to do it.
Okay.
So, and as God worked and moved and, worked in my brain, I realized, okay, I've got this huge bedroom in the front of the house that my daughter moved out of, so I can turn that into a studio. So I literally went and sat in that room for hours trying to figure out how am I going to make this work where it can be a dressing room, fitting room type situation, but it also has to serve as a workroom.
Right.
Because I can't take over the whole house. But so somewhere along the way, we found a happy medium, and I opened up last July. So I've been going for about 18 months now.
Wow,
about a year and a half. So,
okay,
so
it feels longer.
It does. It's been a wild ride, but it's been a lot of fun.
I'll bet. That's crazy. Okay, so how has it been? Have you been able to kind of stay in that bridal niche, or do you do just kind of whatever comes up?
At this point, I'm doing whatever comes up, especially in January, because it's a slower time. So like this week, I've done everything from taking in jeans to like Western. She's in a riding competition, so it's her riding jacket that she needed taken in. So it's like, I'm in Texas. Of course I'm going to do that. But for the most part, it's bridal, bridesmaids, mother of the bride. I know prom season's coming right around the corner. And last season, prom season was insane. And people barely knew I existed. So it's going to be a fun ride. My husband's already figuring he won't see me for the next few months once that starts hitting.
Yeah, because I feel like the prom dresses are great off the rack, but then the straps need to be this, or like my sweet girl is 5'3.5", so the dresses tended to be a little long.
They tend to make them for about 5'7" to 5'9", so most of us are a little below that.
Yeah.
But I always tell people, it's like, well, we can take length off, but adding that ruffle to the bottom kind of goes back to those 80s fashions we were talking about. Not so attractive.
We don't need that.
Exactly. So.
Oh, good. So you've enjoyed it so far.
Oh, I've had a blast.
That's amazing.
It's been great.
Even though you didn't want to do it.
Even though I didn't want to do it. I know.
Are your daughters just like, told you?
Pretty much.
As good daughters should.
Obviously.
I mean, that's what we do.
Exactly.
That's so fun. So what other things do people, maybe they would find surprising about what you do in your business?
Oh, let's see. There's a lot of, I don't want to say counseling, but, it can get intense sometimes because there's, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of stress in wedding planning.
Yes.
So my goal is always to not be an additional stressor.
Okay.
So that was one of the things when I started formulating what I wanted to do. It's like, I want to keep this as low stress as possible. Nice. So I tend to have Disney music playing in the background.
Okay.
I try to keep it
Smart.
just low key. get the job done. But at the same point, we don't have to be so serious about this,
I love that your thought is so deep as to like what music is playing in the background. That's so thoughtful.
It's, it's just something that it's like, and sometimes they'll have their kids with you, or most of the time I ask them if Disney music's okay. And they're like, oh my gosh, I love it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, that's better than the crime podcast I'm probably going to be listening to when I'm sewing your dress. But anyway.
But we'll do this for now.
We'll do this for now.
No, that's great. And reducing stress as much as you can. So do you increase like communication, or how do you reduce stress for them?
Well, my plan is I give them the plan up front.
Okay.
So,
good.
And I try to get the fitting as close to when they're going to be wearing the dress as possible. So
nice.
We don't, as I tell them, you may be stress eating, stress not eating. Let's get as close as we can to the wedding date or the wear date, and then we'll start the alterations. So I don't want to start your alterations 4 months ahead of time.
I love that, because that never made sense.
No.
And then you have to go back for like 2 more fittings.
Pretty much. And then it's going to be basically sitting in my closet waiting to be worked on. So and just scheduling things out. It's like, you don't leave my place without having an appointment for when you're coming back.
Nice.
Because
okay.
I work best on a deadline, and it's good for you to know that too.
We were chitty-chatting about that on Facebook the other day.
It's like, deadlines are awesome. I like deadlines.
Yeah.
But,
put the pressure on.
Exactly. So, and keep it, on schedule where they know what's going on. And I've had a couple of my brides have come back afterwards and given me the compliment I appreciate the most. It's like, things were falling apart around my wedding. The caterer backed out, or this happened or that happened. And they were like, I never had to worry about the dress because I always knew you had it.
That's awesome.
And that's like my favorite compliment ever.
That is so good, because it is so stressful to plan a wedding.
It is, and family situations.
Oh, yeah. And everybody's got an opinion.
Everybody's got an opinion. Mom's determined you're going to do this.
Oh, yeah.
Bridesmaid comes up and says, oh, by the way, I'm pregnant.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I can't wear that dress anymore.
And that's one of the things I do, when that does happen. It's like, okay, so if you're pregnant, I'm going to schedule where I'm going to see you like 10 days before the wedding.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I'm going to turn those alterations around quick, because your body's going to be changing and that kind of thing. So we're going to get, even closer than I normally do.
Okay.
And let's get those alterations done, quick turnaround before your body changes again.
Which is also nice that you're able to do it so quickly.
Yeah.
Like, since you have control of your timeline and you're not, part of a team taking in 15 to 20 dresses a week, you can manage that.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
So
definite benefit.
Makes it nice.
Yes. And you're also active in the community.
I am.
Do you want to talk about the Civic Theater?
Sure. I just costumed for Waco Civic Theater's Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yes,
that was an incredible cast.
It was such a good show.
Oh my goodness. And they're just
blown away.
They were just incredible people as well.
Aww,
so
I love that.
The whole cast. So I could have put them in rags and they would have just blown it out of the water.
But you didn't.
But I didn't. So
No.
So that was fun to put together. It was my first time working with adult theater, which was kind of different because I've done many shows with kids theater.
Okay.
But, I come to adult theater and it's like, oh, they wanted sexier gypsy costumes. I'm there. All right. We can do some things. So,
well, yeah. What was it?
fun.
Esmeralda's red dress.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was gorgeous when she came out in that.
Goodness. Yeah, that was just fire.
Literally. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, Carol, I think I told you that day. I was like, that red dress was awesome.
Gotcha.
Oh my gosh. It was such a good show. Sorry, quick plug for the Civic Theater. I think people underestimate the talent in Waco.
Mm-hmm.
These people could be performing in any large city on any stage.
Definitely.
The staging, the voices, it was gorgeous.
It was gorgeous.
So, I cried.
I know they've got several coming up in the next little bit. The next one I'll be doing with them will be late summer, and it's going to be the Prince of Egypt. So,
ooh, that'll be fun.
Looking forward to that.
That's exciting. Ooh, that'll be fun from a costume standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Lots of probably modern take on biblical. So,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you've got the slaves and things like that, but there's also going to be a lot of color and a lot of rich fabrics and things like that. So I'm looking forward to
So you get to bring in all
digging
kinds of
into
like
that.
textures and colors and
Exactly.
oh, that'll be
So
neat.
that'll be fun. So.
Oh, very good.
And
So-
then I always love working with, I haven't worked with them, but I always support Lorena's drama department at their
Okay.
high school. So they've got an up and coming drama department that's amazing.
Oh, very good.
I just have a love for theater,
Mhm.
especially kids theater, because it gives so much to the kids. I saw what it did
Oh,
for
yeah.
my daughter.
Mhm.
And, she wasn't a sports kid. That wasn't
Sure.
her thing.
It's not everybody's thing.
But theater gave her that chance to be part of a team and working
Yes.
toward a goal and just being that ability to think on her feet and that
Mhm.
kind of thing. It's amazing. Never look down on what theater can do in a kid's life, 'cause
No.
it's amazing.
Oh, it's confidence building. They can learn project management. I mean,
Oh,
there's so many, not just,
definitely.
on stage, and there's so
Exactly.
much they can learn. Soundboard, lighting. It's
Oh,
really
there's
neat.
so much.
There's no end.
No, it really isn't.
That's very cool. I love that you said that. I was a pre-med and theater major. So it's also
Interesting
in my
combination.
Yeah, I'm a weird one. I'm a Gemini.
I mean,
And now I'm a real estate agent. Yay.
Hey. We'll see what you could have done.
It
My
works.
daughter has type 1 diabetes. And when she
Oh.
was like teeny tiny,
Mhm.
there was a guy at University of Tennessee who was I think he was a biochem major and a musical theater major.
Oh,
And he
see?
actually wrote his senior project or whatever. He
Mhm.
wrote a musical about type 1 diabetes.
No way.
And he invited all the kids that had diabetes to come and kind of be part of the final number and everything. So it's funny you
How
mentioned that
neat.
combination of
you don't-
majors.
You don't hear it
'Cause
very
no,
often.
you don't. You don't.
And then I ended up doing neither because I was burnt out. But anyway,
Anyway,
you know.
that's another story.
weird that a weird double major would do that. But very cool. And so you said you moved here about 9 years ago.
hmm
How have you found Waco? What do you think of the town?
I love Waco. I
Ah,
think it's such a neat town. It's even while we've been here, we've seen so much growth and so many
Mhm.
different businesses and things move into it.
Sure.
It's such a great place for small businesses. I
It
mean, when I
is.
look at other areas, you don't see the number of small businesses that you do here in Waco, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think people
Um,
don't realize that. I see, we post stuff about Waco on our business page, and people are like, there's 140,000 people there. Stop talking like it's a small town. And I was like, if you don't live here, I can't explain it, but it is a small town.
It is. It's got that small town vibe, and I grew up in a small town, so I know
Right?
that vibe. But I love the fact that it is close enough to like Austin or
Mhm.
Dallas or something where if you want to go see a show or you want
Mhm.
to go do something that's not in Waco, it's easy enough to get to.
Yeah,
So.
either way, north or south, about an hour and a
Exactly.
half, and you're landing in some really cool. I love that too. I think there's so much about Waco that it's underestimated, and I love sharing that, but also I kick myself. I'm like, oh,
I want you to come, but
I want you to come.
don't overpopulate us, okay?
But also, I've only been here for 7 years, so I don't really get to, make that claim. But it is, and I love that you pointed out small businesses, because I think we have so many small businesses, and there's a lot of times you'll walk into a store and you're talking directly to the owner, and you don't get that in bigger towns, and you don't get that
Right.
when there's tons of franchises or whatnot. Although even out here, the franchise owners tend to be very
It's like
active
part
in
of
the
it.
small business community. So
Mhm.
it's a very good place to start a business,
It really is, even if you're reluctant.
even for reluctant entrepreneurs.
Exactly.
So have you felt supported in starting your business and meeting people and resources and whatnot?
I definitely have,
Mhm.
which is kind of I can make myself be an extrovert, but I'm really more of an introvert.
Okay.
So I can remember, very early on, I decided, okay, if I'm going to do this, I've got to get out there. I'm going to treat this like a business. I
Right.
do work out of my home, but I
Mhm.
don't want this to be a hobby. This is a business.
Nice.
So I knew I had to get out there and, do the things, even if
Yeah.
I didn't know what the things were.
you
But,
find out so fast.
I know, you find out. But ended up finding a couple different networking groups. Like Women of Waco has been awesome.
Oh, good.
And I remember the first month I went to Women of Waco, I literally sat in the parking lot going, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this at all. But I got to do this, but I don't want to do this. But,
Well, and for context, that is a room full of women.
it is. There's usually like 80
Like
to
80?
100
Yeah.
women there. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going to sit here and listen,
Yep.
But everyone there has been so nice
Yeah.
and so sweet and so welcoming. And,
Mm-hmm.
I laugh now when I think about my reluctance to walk in the door. Because it's like,
Now that you know
But-
everybody, you're like, I could not
Exactly.
ever be scared of that person.
Exactly. But,
Good.
you know how you get in your brain and you're like,
Yes.
I feel like everything I've done the last 18 months has been like, I am stepping off into the unknown here. So we'll see how it goes.
That's
But
amazing. But you walked
but it's
out in
been
faith,
fun.
right? And
Exactly.
what else can you do? You just
Like,
go.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then there it is.
And there it is.
There's
So.
always that net.
Mm-hmm.
So that's amazing. And so Women of Waco, what else? Because are you with Lions Club?
I am with Lions Club. I started with Waco Women's Lions Club a couple months ago, or I guess more than that. Wow. Time really
Right?
gets away
It's
from me,
flying.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But joined them because I basically met Kim at a Hewitt Chamber of Commerce meeting. And
yeah.
she's like, oh, you need to come check this out. So I did. And I remember like years ago, I think it was the Kingsport, Tennessee Lions Club actually paid for my daughter's diabetes camp.
Oh,
They gave her a
wow.
scholarship for diabetes camp. And I know the Lions Club here in Texas has the Texas Lions Camp down that does diabetes camp as well. So, and camp was such an important part of her background that I was like, if I can give back and support that and help other kids to be able to have that experience, and I
That's
got to jump
awesome.
in and do that. So,
Full circle.
so yep. So joined them. I'm part of the Hewitt Chamber of Commerce. Been working with a business coach, Crystal, who's amazing at
Yes.
Consulting Refined.
Yes, ma'am.
I had to laugh the other day because several months ago when I started talking to my husband about becoming a client of hers, my husband was like, I could tell he had that kind of okay,
Sure, right?
and when we were at his family's for Christmas, I overheard him talking to his parents. It's like, yeah, Carol's been working with this business coach, and I thought it was crazy at first, but it's been great. So, I was
No,
like,
yeah, she'll keep you on task.
She will keep you on task, and it's been good because there
Good.
was. I think I heard her say earlier, "You don't know what you don't know," and it's so true. Because going into starting a business, I had no clue, especially
Right.
the social media end of it, and the Google business and
All of it.
all of it,
and
It's like,
SEO and hashtags were in, and now they're out, and
know,
keeping
it's
up with
like
it all.
keeping up with everything. It's
Yeah.
like, no, it's so that's probably been the hardest part of the whole starting a business, is just figuring out
The business.
exactly figuring out the business. Like, I can do the sewing and even the
Right.
bookkeeping part
Yeah.
of it, but it's the social media, internet,
The marketing, the
marketing,
connecting.
websites, and that kind of thing. It's
Yes.
like, oh my goodness. So
Well,
so
good.
thankfully I've got her in my back pocket. So
Yeah. No, she's great. And they started the Vibe Waco.
exactly.
So that's a nice place for people to gather and learn. And it's a Facebook group, so it's not in person. But, that's great. I think that's going to do really fun things in town.
Yeah, I think that's going to
excited.
be an awesome site as they build it and expand and do all sorts of fun things.
Well, and they're being so intentional with it, right?
Exactly.
So you love that. Okay, what else about your business do you want people to know that maybe we haven't touched on yet? Like, I was surprised when you said you had taken in some jeans. Like that, I would not have, even though it's Alterations by Carol, I connect you in my brain with prom and wedding. So I was like, oh, duh, of course.
Well, and prom and wedding is, strangely enough, that's my comfort zone because that's basically where I was trained in alterations.
Sure.
So, it actually stresses me out more to take up jacket sleeves or,
Oh, really?
something like that should be easy. But it's like, okay, let me tear into this wedding gown over here. I'm going to leave that jacket for a while.
Really?
But so that's funny. It's like, but I do, when I've got the time,
Yes.
I do take in other kinds of alterations and that
Okay.
type of thing. Trying to think what else.
I don't know. It's completely
So-
different, but do you do any embroidery?
That I don't do.
Okay.
I don't have the
Okay.
machines to do
Yes.
that.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
I
those
played
are
around.
huge.
Yeah, that would be a whole other room of the house that I would be taking over. So
Yeah. We don't need that. Hang on. I'm going to ask you to hang on just a sec. Josh, can you hear me? This went out. It was like going in and out. That's so weird. Sorry. I don't know if it's the mic or if it's the headphones. Okay, so hopefully that part came out okay. It was like going in and out of sound.
That's always fun.
So I think we're good. Okay.
The devil's in the tech.
I was like, what? Yeah, that's why I come here. And then I leave and they do all the good things.
They do all the good things.
Okay.
Makes sense to me. Oh.
Yes, because those embroidery machines, they're no joke. Also.
Yeah, especially a quality one.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
no. My mother-in-law just got one and it's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
It is a monster. And it's not, commercial. And I'm still like, wow. Anyway, I am amazed by sewing. I know it seems silly and like I'm just kissing your butt, but I am because I could never do it. And so it's really neat to me. And what a good thing for people to be able to just go right to you and say, help, help me with this.
I hear that a lot.
I'll bet you do. It is a lost art. It's a lost skill.
It really is.
And-
I'm almost on the low end of the age range of people who do what I do.
I'll bet.
So because it hasn't been seen as a viable career for quite a while. So
Well, and we're not, darning our socks anymore. We're getting rid of them
Thank
and buying a new
goodness.
pair. Oh, yeah. No thanks. Clearly I wouldn't anyway. So, but I mean, it's just not something people are doing anymore.
Exactly.
And so it's neat that you're right here and accessible and great to work with and people can, make things fit.
There you go.
Very
That's
good.
the plan.
Well, all right. We will include all of the ways to contact you in the show notes, but what's your favorite way to connect with somebody who needs help with alterations?
Gotcha. Usually the best way to get me is by text.
Okay.
And that's 423-833-7660.
Okay.
It may take me till the end of the day to get back with you because if I've got my hands up in a wedding dress or something, I usually don't. By the time I pull my hands out, it's going to be another 10 minutes till I find that seam again.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. No. Do not pause for a quick text.
No.
But you'll get back to somebody by the end of the day?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. We'll put your website
Awesome.
and your socials and
the
all the
things.
ways to connect with you. And then we'll remind people to text is the best.
Okay.
All right. So if you do have prom coming up or you're getting ready to start planning your wedding, reach out to Carol, Alterations by Carol, and make sure that everything's fitting exactly how you need it to fit on your big day. And she will take excellent care of you. I just want to thank you for coming in. I'm so glad that you did this.
Thanks for having me. It was a blast.
Yeah. See? And you stepped right out of your comfort zone again. And look at this.
Exactly.
And it all worked out.
It all worked out.
Very cool. Well, that's Alterations by Carol. And this is What's Up, Waco.
Topic you want to talk about? Do you have questions about Waco, the real estate market, how to sell your house, what to look for when you're buying a home? Send me an email, ericasellstexas@gmail.com. Shoot me a text, 254-447-0180. Happy to chat about it. Find me anywhere you listen to your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.